All right, good morning, everyone. I am going to just go over what the plans are for the house as far as changing things, what we plan to do in all the rooms upstairs and downstairs, and a little bit of the exterior. Um, I'm doing this due to a suggestion from Charles, so thanks, Charles. Appreciate it. Um, Anyone have any comments, please feel free to put them in that comment section, and I'll try to do my best to not just respond, but act upon any, what's the word? Just requests. There we go. So anyway, so starting here in the front, you can see we've got this thermoply. It's real thin. It's kind of just like a heat insulator to keep the heat out and probably the cold out too during the wintertime. But anyway, it's real thin and it sits over the top of something called blackboard, which was pretty common for sheathing back in the 60s and 70s. So both of those layers are going to come off, and then we're going to put something called zip siding on. Not siding, sorry, zip sheathing. So it's essentially a rubberized coating on top of an OSB sheet, and then you tape all the seams. So it's not just an air barrier, but it's also a moisture barrier as well. So kind of double action there. And then on top of that, after we wrap or sheathe the house in it, then we're going to put some LP siding on the outside and make it look like a board and batten. That's kind of been our desire for quite a few years now, to have that look. And of course now it's a popular thing, but that's okay. And as you can see, I'll kind of point out some of the things that I've noticed that I'm going to have to remedy. But this is the block wall, the foundation wall that the framed upstairs is sitting on top of. So as you can see, there's a little bit of an overhang. They didn't put this on the very edge like it should be. And then if you go all the way over to this side, you can see it's almost flush. There's just a little bit of a setback here. So I'm not sure if the block wall is not square or if the top house, the framing part, is not square, but anyway, so what I'm going to do to remedy that is, once I sheathe it, before I put the siding on, I'm just going to put some what they call Z flashing. So it's metal and it goes down and then out and then back down. Kind of looks like a letter Z, if you will. So that way any kind of moisture that comes down hits that metal, comes out and around, and it doesn't sit on top of that block wall and get absorbed in, and it doesn't penetrate this block wall. So we're trying to mitigate as much of the moisture as we can. So obviously I'll have to adjust the width here as we go further this direction to make it smaller, but it's okay because it's the sheet of Z flashing, if you will. Piece of Z flashing is not super long, so these are just bricks that they put on top, maybe to sort of mitigate the water, but brick is very porous, so it attracts the water. So that doesn't work very well. So anyway, so we're going to kind of chisel off some of this little bit of concrete berm that they put here, and then I'll probably put concrete flush just to seal up the holes in the block wall, and then put that Z flashing on. And then there's also for that zip sheathing at the very bottom, you tape all the seams, but at the very bottom, when you go from the zip to a concrete wall or the foundation or whatever, you're going to use something called a liquid flash. So it's kind of like almost like a caulk. You put it in a caulk gun and you squeeze it out at the bottom here, and then you kind of mesh it, if you will, from the sheathing onto the concrete. So it provides you, again, that air and moisture barrier at the bottom, so bugs and water and all that stuff can't get in, which bugs are a big problem right now too. We've got a lot of ants coming in, and termites, so we want to make sure to mitigate that. So I know I'm getting a little technical here. This will be a longer video, but I just kind of want to go through some of the things that I'm noticing. And then we've got, you know, a lot of wasp issues because of this. I think this is actually aluminum, not vinyl, but because the siding was vinyl. I don't know if this is vinyl or aluminum. I can't. It kind of feels like aluminum. So anyway, but each one of these little, where the slits go down, is where a wasp can get in, and they're building nests up inside of there, and I don't want that. So I'm going to put a solid soffit here with, of course, vents, but the vents will be really small, so nothing can get in there. And then I'm gonna make sure to tape that when I do the zip, so there'll be no gap that bugs can get into the attic from down here, at least from the soffit. And then obviously we want to vent the soffit so it can vent into the attic and get a flow going through the attic, because you want a flow. You want to push all that hot air out of the attic, and there's a whole bunch of things that you can get if you don't have that. So anyway, the windows we're going to keep. They're pretty good, vinyl windows, double pane. So we're just going to take those out once we remove all this stuff, and then when we resheathe, we're going to tape all the window jambs with zip tape so that no moisture can get in, and then put the windows back in, and then seal them properly, because they're on the other side of the house, on I guess it would kind of be the south side. We've had some, you can see some moisture penetration, if you will, into the house, and that's not good. So another thing, most all doors are gonna, actually all doors will go away. So this stormish door is gonna go away, and then this door that is our front door is actually, it's a hollow core door, which you use for interiors, not exteriors. So that's pretty sweet, along with a lot of other things. I'll go back out here because there's one more thing I want to talk about. This porch, I'm going to at least cut the concrete right about here so I can get to there's a board where all the floor joists come into, and there's some rot and termite damage over here. So I kind of just want to replace that whole board along here and just make it new. So that's not a problem. Probably a lot of work, but such is life, and we want to do it right this time so that we don't have to do all of what we're doing now in the future. But another thing is too, is this porch is like a doghouse, like a dormer, if you will. So the peak runs right here and runs out, but we'd like to eventually have like a covered porch that goes from one corner all the way to the other corner, which would mean we'd have to just rip this whole thing off and have the pitch from the roof that comes off adjust slightly more shallow and then come out. Otherwise, you know, you can have the front of the porch right down here and you couldn't even walk under it. So maybe I might just pound up this whole entire piece of concrete, because another thing is, it's hard to see, but this post is sitting on top of a block of wood. It's not even anchored to the concrete. So if I kick this hard enough, the post would just fly out and this roof would be floating or falling. And the same thing over here. This is, you can just see, they just stuffed a couple of pieces of wood underneath here. So that's kind of scary too. Same thing goes over here. So I'd like to just, I'm not sure what I want to do. I don't know if I just want to break up all this concrete and jack this porch up, like just this side of the beam, and then jackhammer that out and dig a deeper hole and put an actual cement post underneath as a pier, and then it'll have a bracket in it, and then it'll attach to this, and then when we go to rip this off, we'll just put a new post, just undo the bracket, and then put the bracket on the new post, and all this concrete will be new, because it's hard to see too, but this patio actually slopes down, so I'd like this to just be flat. So if it started out here and went flat, it would drop down below where that board I was talking about is, behind here and behind the sheathing. So, and there'd be a step up to the porch, but honestly, I think most houses we've owned, lived in, have had a little step here. So this is almost flush. There's a little tiny step, but nothing big. So anyway, that's more technical stuff for the patio. Now coming in here, this is our front room. We want to make it just like a sort of a library and sitting area. So we want to build a built-in window seat here with bookshelves on either side, and then maybe something up over the top too. And then where the two HVAC registers are, we'd have them come up and out where the window seat is. And so that way there'd be a place to sit, and also we can keep books there. Maybe the bookshelf will come out kind of around the corner and come out to here, and then just have a couch, kind of an L-shaped couch here. So this would just be normal wall, no built-ins or anything. And then probably this wall, we'd want to make possibly some bookcases as well. We don't want to cut off this entrance though, so kind of have to pull it back a little bit. And then there's a shoe closet behind this door, so that'll stay. So that's kind of what we want to do in here. And coming into the hallway here, pardon me, and then into the kitchen. So we're just going to redo all the cabinets. So the cabinets are, as you can see, they're built out of plywood, so they're good cabinets. They're solid, not like the cheaper junk that you see today. So we're just going to sand them down and probably paint them. And we'd like to have gray cabinets, and then we're going to put new hardware because all the rail slides and such are all from the 70s. So we want those to be the new nice slow close drawers and really nice side slides or undermount slides. And so the counter only comes out, actually it doesn't, it just ends right here into the wall. That's where it goes. So we might add some counter or cabinets onto here, and then again have this register either move out or do something fancy with that. There's another register hole here, and those are the only two sources for heating and cooling in the kitchen. So I don't honestly have solid plans for what to do with those right yet, but that's that. So the old cabinets went all the way down here. Sink was here, dishwasher was here, and then they kind of rounded the corner just a touch, and then you see the hole in the floor there. That's where the stove was, and then you can almost see the imprint of it. And then there was a little short cabinet end that came out here too. And then you got a little bit of space. The fridge was here, and then you can go out. So I don't know, we may rethink how everything's going to go in here. And then it's a dining kitchen, so our dining table is going to go here. This sliding glass door is going to move. We're going to pull the framing in or out, however you want to look at that, to in the center, and then we'll just have a single door that will swing out onto the patio. So that way the door won't be in the way of the table. So eventually I think I want to make a built-in bench here and then have the table. We have benches for our table now, but it'll just, because of time, we can do that once we are moved in. So, hey kitty. And then over here is the bathroom. So this is further down the hall here. This used to be where the return was. There's a big hole right here for the HVAC, and then there was a grate in this closet door. We're just gonna put the return downstairs though. So we don't have a big gaping hole and a weird, awkward door. So this will be a usable closet. And then in here, there was a vanity, a double vanity here, hence the holes in the floor for the drains. The toilet was over here. The register was here. And this is the drain for the shower tub combo that was here. And then there was a small linen closet here that was very poorly framed in. So we're actually gonna knock this stud out and maybe move this one over a little bit. And then we're gonna have this open up into the kitchen, and this will be a pantry. Just better use of space. And then this will still be the shower, and it's just gonna be a shower. We're just gonna do a tray, and then we're gonna frame out a wall and tile it. And then this toilet will move over to here so we can keep all of the sewage drain line all in between two floor joists. And since the toilet will move over here, we'll have this space over here, and we'll probably put some sort of linen cabinet over here to take the place of the linen closet that was here. Plus we've got this closet over here we can use for a linen closet, and there's a closet at the end of the hallway too. We can also use that as a linen closet. So I think that's it. We're gonna, since the toilet's gonna go there, we'll still have a double vanity right here. This is sort of the main bathroom that services those two bedrooms over there. So let's go over here. So when we moved in here, of course it was I'll put air quotes, a livable house. It was pretty trashed and moldy, but we could have cleaned it up, I guess, and technically lived in it, but we like challenges, I guess. So anyway, not eventually, but originally this used to have a wall between these two bedrooms. You can kind of see in the floor too, evidence of that. And then the ceiling came across here, and then there was a big just 2x6 that was nailed in the ceiling right here, that bridged the gap where they had taken the wall out and they didn't like patch the sheetrock. They just nailed a board up there. It was pretty sweet. So anyway, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna reframe this whole wall so it'll again be two bedrooms. They're not the biggest, they're about 11, maybe 10.5 feet by 11 or 12, I think. We have a lot of barn cats, so they're checking it out what I'm doing here. So here's the closet for this bedroom. Let's see what else. Each one has a register. So this bedroom has a register, that bedroom has a register, because again, it was originally built as two bedrooms. Each one has a door. There's the door for that one, there's the door for this one, and there's the wall. So, and then there's the closet for this bedroom, and I guess that's kind of it. Here's the small closet at the end of the hallway here. I gotta kind of unframe things because all this floor, the whole upstairs, had a second layer of subfloor over this first layer. So what you're looking at is tar paper that was laid as a moisture barrier over the original subfloor. So eventually I'm gonna tear up all this tar paper. I'm gonna take a circular saw and I'm gonna cut out all the subfloor and put in new subfloor. And the reason for that is a lot of it's delaminated. There's mold on the bottom side of it. So it's just gonna be better. Although some of these walls here like this that run parallel with the floor joists are not sitting on top of a floor joist, they're sitting in between. So we're gonna have to go underneath and cut pieces of 2x12 and put them between the floor joists so that it holds the weight of that wall. Because if I were to cut it out, the whole wall would just fall down. So I don't know why they didn't frame the wall on top of a floor joist. I mean, that's what you're supposed to do as a framer, but yeah, we're in rural Tennessee where there are no building permits required, so people kind of do what they want. So you have to mitigate those, I'll say, ignorant mistakes. Now we're in the master, so I didn't say that, but so the master comes in here from the hallway. This was a closet, and then it had a bump out that was kind of trapezoid shaped, and we took all that out. I also had a dropped ceiling for that trapezoid shape, so you had to go around and in through the bathroom and then through this hole, and then there was kind of like an alcove in the closet, and then the closet came here and inside. So we knocked that all out. We're gonna take this stud and that bottom plate out, so this will be kind of just a nice little alcove area. One piece of second subfloor here left. Again, they kind of framed this in, so I got to pull this framing out and then pull that last piece out. Originally, I think, because this was the exterior wall here, they built a stud pack here and then put two 2x12s as a beam to hold the weight of all the roof rafters. And then built another stud pack here. So they cut it you know, they cut out this whole wall and then built over the top of the deck out back. And there's a step here that's probably about 2 inches high from the original that goes down. So I'll pull up all this subfloor and then build this up so it's level. They had actually 3 layers of carpet in here and they all just went kind of waterfall down. Again, you know, fun. Also, you can kind of see there's sunlight coming here. So when they framed in this wall, they didn't attach it. They just cut the siding and the sheathing and then just framed up as close as they could and then just stuffed insulation in there. So there's all sorts of mud daubing wasp nests in there, all up in there. And there's a big, since this transition on the roof is crummy, there's a lot of water damage where it has kind of dripped down on the fascia board there. So we have to mitigate that too. And you can see there's sun coming through there because they didn't do the blocking in this one. So anyway, this it was just a big mess. That's why there's just so many things like that. That's why we decided to tear down to where we are now. Also here in the sheathing, they just punched a big hole into the outside, and which is not a huge deal, but they used vinyl siding as the ceiling for the outside. So again, just tons of wasp nests and birds and dead snakes and things up there. So that's, you know, always lots of fun too. Sorry, got on a tangent here. So this stairway, when tall people like myself go down the stairs, the bottom of this board right here hits my neck. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take out this board and the floor joists go this way. So I'm going to run this hole all the way to here to the concrete basement wall. So that way when you come down, you won't hit your head. And then I'll make a landing and then turn the stairs and it'll go down a step into the basement. Because you'll hit the wall before you even hit the ground going down the stairs. So that's the purpose of that. And then this is the bathroom, master bath. I'm not sure, again, what we're gonna do here. If we're gonna keep this as the opening, if we're gonna move the opening to this end, or if we're gonna keep that opening. I kind of want to close off this side because this all is going to be our closet. So this, where this door hole is, we're gonna frame this in and then just be a wall here. And then we'll just have, I don't know what the layout of the closet will be, but this will be our closet. I was thinking maybe of putting a barn door here to slide over so we don't have to look at the closet and we can slide it open when we want to get in there. And so that would make sense if we walled this in and kept this wall and then kept this opening for a door and we just came in through here. So you can kind of see, I haven't pulled up the linoleum in this room, but this was a vanity, very small vanity, a toilet, and then a tub shower combo. Obviously they had a lot of leaking going on, as you can see, and into here to the out here you can see the water line. So yeah, so again, lots of work to do. And what else? So there's a hole up here. So in the insulation, birds had built a nest in this cavity. That was kind of fun too. So same thing here. You can see all the sunlight coming through here. So we got to fix this wall as well. So some framing to do. You can see there used to be a window here because this is all an addition. So they framed that in. And that's what I was going to say too. With this, you can kind of tell that this is a lighter wood than this. So this, I think, was a Jack and Jill bathroom. So you used to walk into here and then they framed this in when they did the addition. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to have another pan, shower pan here, like a full size, and then wall it in with a door. And that'll be the shower here. And then maybe the toilet will be over here. And then we'll have a vanity that will go all the way here. I'm not sure yet, but I'm thinking that's probably what we're going to do. So yeah, so we'll figure that out when we do some design stuff. I'm sorry this video is getting kind of long, but I just wanted to kind of go into detail, hey kitty, on what we're doing here. Tiny kitty, hey tiny kitty. And going out the sliding door, just real quick, I'll come out here and show you the patio. We're gonna keep this part of the patio just as is. We'll rescreen in the patio because there are a lot of bugs here. And then I think, as I said in another video, I'm just gonna tear out this little walkout because it's a little sketchy and the wood is just exposed to the elements, so it's just trashed. So there's no point in keeping that. And then we'll keep all this. We'll reside, of course, all this. We're gonna pull all this T111 off and reside it again with that LP siding. Obviously all this siding will go away. And I can't really walk over this. It's got some nails in it and such, but, and then there's a door right here and then some stairs that go down to the driveway. And so I think we'll keep most of this. I'll have to do some reframing on this roof. It's just really sketchy. And they just have vinyl siding. They didn't even sheathe this in, so it has no shear value or anything. I can like push on these posts and the whole thing just kind of wiggles. So not the greatest. It's kind of looks silly the way it is right now because this post over here I have to figure out how to pull so I can pull the rest of this siding off, because it's they had the siding on and then they built this porch and they just nailed it right through the siding, so as if the siding and everything never needed to be redone. So anyway, and then I think the power lines, what we're gonna do is we're gonna call the power company, have them tear it down and run it down the pole and underground rather than having it stretch through the sky here and attach to the side of the house. Just better for, you know, storms and things like that. So that's the goal there. And let's go back inside here. Hey kitty. And going downstairs. As I said before, if I hold this at my face level, boop. So down here, it's got kind of like a half step. So we'll put this landing up so it'll be wider, and then it'll turn and then it'll go down a step or two there. Kind of looking back up so you can see all the joists run this way. So it's not a big deal to take this out and these two pieces and just take this out and run it all the way. It's not going to affect anything. These couple of pieces are not, there's no wall built on top of it. The wall is built right here between the master and the bathroom. So the block wall is holding all the weight there. So anyway, we're going to redo the stairs because they're not framed correctly. This is the fireplace that will disappear, and we'll just wall this in. Coming out here, this used to be our sunroom, what we called it, because it had nice big windows and a double glass door, so let in lots of light. This will be our laundry area over here. Because it's so far from our sewer stack, what we're going to do is we're just going to put a gray water drain out into the field here. The creek's right there, so it'll just kind of run into the field here, which is, it's hard to tell, but it's actually on a slope. And it gets really boggy, if you will. They call it bottomland out here, but it's pretty mucky once it rains. And if it really rains, then the creek will overflow into the field right here. And yeah, so no big deal. Just gray water's, you know, from the laundry's water in the grass. Not a huge deal. I'm taking out this last planer here. I took out this planer here. And then we'll take out this framing once I shore up the bottom of these posts they're just sitting on top of a like a 6x6, maybe an 8 by no 6x6 I think, concrete block, and that's its foundation. So I'm going to put an actual concrete pier. I'm going to jack this up, pull this post out, and dig down, and then pour a concrete pier with a bracket, and then attach it. So it'll be holding the weight as it should. And then once I do that, then I'll pull out these two walls, because I think they weren't originally supposed to be load bearing, but I think because the ends here have sunk, the weight of the deck is actually sitting on these now. So I tried to pound this out, and it was really difficult. I was like, I'll just keep this in. The other walls, the side walls that I tore out, and where this double door was, and here, where they just came out no problem. But anyway, the goal for this room is to break up all this concrete, because we have this giant crack here. So this part of the slab, where they framed it in, they framed it back from the edge about 6-8 inches. So when it would rain, the water would just collect right on the edge of this slab and just soak into this bottom plate. So, you know, rain is supposed to hit the side of the house and go down, and you're supposed to be all the way at the edge, so it goes down into the dirt and doesn't soak into all the wood. You definitely want to mitigate as many water problems, especially here where we are in Tennessee. It's very, very wet. So I want to keep things as dry as possible. This is just a little propane stub I just got to cut and pull through the wall. It looked like they did have a propane tank at one time. Not positive on that. Not sure what this is. It's a grate over a kind of a hole. I don't know if it's like air flow for the old chimney, or if there's a buried line where the downspout used to go into and run here. I'm not sure. I'll figure that out later. And then this chimney, as you can see, it was built later because they sided the house, and then you can see kind of where the chimney steps. But it used to be up flush to the house, so you can see it's pulling away. And it's also where you can see here, it's pulling the concrete wall apart. So this is the concrete wall on the bottom that everything framed is sitting on top of, and so this chimney is actually pulling this away because I think it's sinking down here. I don't know if it was just the weight. They didn't pour a good enough foundation, like a thick enough foundation to hold all the weight of this concrete block, plus all the brick inside. I don't know, but it's a problem. So the house has central heating and cooling, so this is really just a kind of a nicety, if you will, having this fireplace. And as you can see, it needs reparming and a lot of things because it's the concrete outside is just flaking off big time. So kind of give a little better look here. And they're just cracking everywhere. And yeah, so it's just better to just tear this thing down and patch in the hole inside, and then we won't have to worry about it anymore. So that's the plan for the chimney. So we'll start tearing that down, I don't know, the next day or two. It's supposed to be really hot this week. I say that, those of you who live in Arizona, it's a different hot here. It's going to be like low to mid 90s with like 90% humidity, and that's pretty brutal. So anyway, and then this slab I'll pour about 4 feet out, so it'll come right to the edge of this window here, and I'll frame in a wall here, all down this wall, like an interior wall that'll sit on top of the slab, but it'll hold the deck here, all these joists, and then right now they're just bolted in to the board that sits on top of this block wall, the same board that I was talking about on the front of the house. It's all kind of rotten and has termite damage. So I'm going to take out those bolts so then it sits on an actual wall instead of rusting on lag bolts. And then I'm gonna take these posts out and pour actual concrete footings. They're just sitting on dirt right now. It's crazy. I think maybe they were just there until they put all the lag bolts in or what, but so I'm gonna redo all those and then take those lag bolts out. So it'll be a normal deck. And then this is kind of just, I was saving some wood that seemed to be good, although talking to another friend of mine, he's like, you know what? You start doing that and then your piles just get crazy big. Just narrow it down to a little bit. So I think I'm just gonna, I don't know, either burn it, take it to the dump, something, but just needs to get out of here. This whole area needs to get cleaned up. It's kind of our chicken area. We got our straw and our water and stuff when we have chicks. This is our feed, and then that's our coop out there. Yeah, so nothing's really changing out here under the porch. Again, this room, we're just gonna break up the slab and then re-pour it and reframe. We might frame it out to the edge here. I'm not sure. I want to be able to put some chairs and stuff underneath outside this door, and this will just be a single door, not a double door. And I'm trying to think of anything else. Another thing that we're going to do, just a small technical thing, all these downspouts here, they just come out and they just dump, so right under the ground. So what we're going to do is there's one here and there's one around the chimney up front, and we're going to bury a solid PVC line once we take this chimney out, and it'll pull all the water that comes off the roof out down those downspouts through that pipe, and then we'll run it about 10 feet out, and then it'll have a dump, you know, in the field here behind all this foliage. Because again, the creek's down here, so we just want to pull as much water away from the house as we can, so it doesn't damage the foundation and walls and things any worse than it has already. So that's the goal. Anyway, small technical detail there. This we will take out this framing, and I'll kind of re-bolster this area because there's a block header. So like this concrete block that well, you can't see individual blocks from the outside, but you can see, you know, here's the blocks, right? So there's a block that's got it's got reinforced rebar through it. So there's a header block, what they call it. It's super long here, and it sits over as a header over this hole, and then the rebar goes through it to, you know, so it all stays together. And then its weight sits on this block and this block. So we're gonna kind of just take out all this framing, and this will just be a hole. I think I might put maybe like a barn door or something that'll slide open. I'm not sure. We'll see. This is a gun we found here. It's just a little 22. It's super rusty. Just a little side note. It needs somebody that knows, you know, like a gunsmith that knows how to take it apart and refurb it. But that'd be a waste to throw it away. So maybe I'll give it to somebody who knows what they're doing. Anyway, a little side note. And then we'll take all this fur stripping here off, and then we'll frame this in properly. And then again, this big hole where the fireplace was will all be blocked in to be flush with the wall that's already here. And this will kind of be, we're thinking maybe a room where we can put a TV. We're not big into TV, so, but we've got a little Nintendo Switch, and it's nice to have a big screen so the whole family can play together. So we might just put a TV over here. And then where this pole is, the beam that holds all the weight of the house goes straight down the middle. And then they've got these poles that you thread up, and it holds the weight, and then you just frame in over them, and they're just hidden in the wall so you can't see them. So there didn't used to be a wall in here. This used to be just continuous into this room, but we're gonna wall it off here. So we're gonna pull from the outside wall through this pole, maybe right about here, and then there'll be a pass through right here. Here's the stairs. This will come all the way to the middle portion of the house. And then this used to be a hallway here. And then You come, there's like a little clearing right here. You can see where the wall was. This was a closet, and this was the door opening, and then there was a diagonal wall, and then the wall went from this pole all the way to the wall there. So this was a room, then it had a closet here, and then this was a room as well, and the door opening was like right about here, and then there was these two really long, you can see there's a board still nailed in the floor here, that really long like closets, I guess. They're kind of just openings between the bathroom and this room, and then there was another one on this side. You can see where the, was a break in the flooring. Same thing over here. I have no idea why they were there. It's just kind of a waste of space. So we're gonna pop that open a little bit more, and this will be a bathroom again. It had like a little tiny square shower in it, little tiny vanity, like right here. And then there was a toilet, and this whole thing was sitting on 2x12s. It was like a raised bathroom. And then there was a washer and dryer right here. So like I said, the washer and dryer will move out to that sunroom outside. And then the HVAC unit was sitting right here on top of a whole bunch of ducting and stuff. I haven't moved it because it's still charged. So I need somebody to come out here and take the charge out of the system, so then I can take all the lines out in this old unit, and the condenser outside as well. So, and then we're gonna get new HVAC units, and I think we're gonna put this, unit, if you will, the new one, against that wall back there, and then go up, and the ducting will run down the hallway here. So the hallway will have a little bit of a drop ceiling. It'll be more like a 7 foot instead of an 8 foot. And then we'll still have two rooms here, one room here, one room there. We'll have this bathroom. It'll have a full tub shower combo. This will be the only tub in the house, and we thought, well, when the kids get older, if they have, kids and the grandkids come over, you got to have somewhere to bathe those kids. So that's why we want a tub down here. So, and it'll be a little bit bigger of a bathroom. But again, we're going to have, the hallway will be here, so the bathroom will come out a little bit further than it used to. And then I think this room will make bigger, and then we'll push the bathroom maybe out a little further this way. So this room will be our homeschool room, because we homeschool our kids. And so it'll probably just have bookcases around, and I don't know what the layout will be. That's Ashley's jam, not mine. So I'll let her decide how that looks. And we're gonna tear out all this sort of like, I don't know how many people have been in a men's bathroom, but this stuff on the walls, kind of like what you would see around a urinal. So it's kind of like a plasticky, if you will, like a thin plastic sheet, but it's rigid. So they drilled holes in the concrete and then just popped rivets in it and put it all the way where the dirt hits the wall. And then I think they just hoped it would kind of go through the concrete, and then there's pipes underneath the concrete that flow into this sump pump, and then it pumps it up that pipe and outside. And again, this pump just barely goes outside and then just dumps. So it, just comes and soaks right back into the wall. So that needs to go into that line I was talking about for the downspouts. That's just gonna pull the water all the way out to the field. But we're gonna pull all this sheeting off, and then we're gonna put a French drain all the way across the front of the house. And then that'll join up with that buried 3-inch PVC for the downspouts, and just continue to take the water away from the house. And so once water's coming down, when it rains down the front yard towards the house, it'll hit that French drain and then pull it right out. And hopefully water will never hit this wall again. That's the goal. But you should actually, because concrete, the mortar and stuff, and the stuff that holds the concrete block together has lime in it, and water, I can't remember if there's a word for it. It's not calcification, I don't think, but anyway, that block constantly being wet pulls that lime out and then starts to break down the block and the mortar. So we don't want that, even though it's been happening for a really long time. So we want the block to be able to dry out. So obviously not into the house, but you do want it to dry, to be able to dry through and dry in. So anyway, we're gonna have a different setup rather than just trying to hold that moisture into the block. And because also behind this, you can see there's plastic sheeting, like a plastic bag almost, that's behind these plastic sheets, the rigid sheets. So there's 2 layers of plastic, so that block never gets a chance to dry out. We'll get a new electrical panel in here. And as I said before, we've just got 1 circuit left because I need to plug in like my Sawzall, my lights. The sump pump still has to run. So we still have electricity. We're gonna keep this sewer main line, the stack here. Not this, but we'll keep it where it's at. We'll replace this piece and then we'll cut this piece off. We're gonna cut through the concrete. Wherever we put the shower and the toilet and the sink, they'll go into the concrete and then hit the main line so that we can put everything flush on the concrete instead of being raised up like it was. So I think this was for the shower and no, this was for the shower and I think this was for the sink. One or the other, I can't remember. So anyway, so obviously the main line goes straight. So we'll just cut the concrete here, maybe out to like here and break it up and get to that main line. And then we'll cut where we want the shower and the sink and everything to be. And then everything from upstairs, like the kitchen and everything, like I said, will sit here between either this or this, this cavity. And from the 2 bathrooms that are back to back over here, everything will run down here and then straight down into the stack. And then the kitchen is over here, kitchen sink. So we'll have it drop down into the cavity and run over to where the HVAC is and then run it in that same drop ceiling where the HVAC is. Because before this house, they had a huge soffit that was dropped here for the HVAC. And then this whole area here that the hallway would come into, everything was dropped. And the HVAC had something I was hitting my head on every time. It was awful. So we're gonna design that a little better. I think that's it. Well, I guess, sorry, these rooms, we're gonna try to make this another bedroom over here. So this bedroom will have access to this, not direct access, but you have to come outside, but it'll be, the bathroom will be for this bedroom. And then this room, it could be a bedroom. I'm not really sure what I want this to be necessarily, but it'll just be another room that we can utilize. And so these will have a wall separation. I think right up to just before, like this post will end, there'll be a wall here. And then there'll be from the hallway, there'll be a doorway here into this room. And then there'll be a doorway into this room. So it'd be kind of like a corner here with 2 doors, 1 into each room. Just kind of want to minimize the hallway because hallways are kind of waste of space there. So that's the goal. Yeah, for the basement here. But the basement will come, I think most of it will come after we move in, just because we want to move in as soon as possible. And we won't be really living down here. So, and right now we're living in a 800-ish square foot, 2-bedroom, 1-bath rental. So, and we moved from a 35-foot RV trailer, 5th wheel. So it's not like living in 1,300 square feet upstairs. It'll be an upgrade from where we're at now. So anyway, that's I think that wraps it up. I think that's it for everything we want to do here. If you guys have any other questions about anything I've missed, you feel like that I haven't talked about or something, walking around, or if you have, you want more details on something, again, just feel free to throw them in the comments there and I'll do my best to make another video. Hopefully it's much shorter than this one. And but thanks for hanging out for about 50 minutes and just following me around. And Charles, I hope this answers your question and some other folks' questions too, as to, you know, what the plan is for the house. So thanks again, everyone, and we'll see you later.